Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to Warships for our Tuesday edition video. And a rather interesting ranked battle is going to occur here. As you could probably tell from the title, which I'm still trying to think through, but probably gave some things away. But this is going to be a carry. For the enemy team, it's going to be a game in which they throw. It's not that when we get to the end, when you see what all happens and takes place, that there was a 0% chance of us winning. It was if the enemy team, the two remaining players, had made several different decisions, they likely would have won the outcome of this battle. So it was definitely a game of throws on their part. But how we are going to do so is going to be... my hands are shaking a little bit and get to the end of this match as you see what all happens and takes place here. So I'm just going to review this battle and talk through ranked here in World of Warships, which right now in the Bronze League is Tier 8, 6 versus 6. And you're going to see a lot of the ranked discussion, I guess, on my part, and advice and tips on how to play ranked. So, in starting off here, the Olin player said that he would go with Doom, which actually is kind of ironic. My clan commander and I were trying to sync drop. I've had him on the enemy team already. In that battle, killing 4 enemy ships and 170,000 damage and still wasn't enough. And in this battle, he landed on my team. So, the Olin is saying to Doom, hey, I'm going to run with you to the cap at sea, into which we both like, no. It'd be much better if you can come to B, because him as a destroyer can get to Bravo cap much faster than myself, than Doom and the Corsair. As I look at our Alabama player, make a mental note, okay, don't do what he's going to do. This isn't... The part of the problem is you have players in World of Warships, specifically Battleship players, who think ranked is randoms battle. It's not randoms, okay? You don't play quite the same way. Really, when I talk about this, I'm saying positioning. Like, Mr. North Carolina, or sorry, not North Carolina, Mr. Alabama on our team is gonna go park up on the B line and ranked, okay? And I'm like, already making a mental note. He's already made the first mistake, okay? So that's really frustrating, and that's gonna bite us. He's gonna make multiple wrong decisions, and I'm gonna be frustrated with him. Not toxic, but just frustrated with him over it. But ranked is a game mode that's not randoms, but it very much focuses on early positioning and particularly getting control of the caps. So Doom and the Corsair has a 3-kilometer hydro radius to which he's just activated, and we just lost our Albemarle. And so he plays the role of cap contesting much better than our Olin does. So it's very natural for Doom to go up there in the Corsair and flip C, and he can deal with the enemy destroyer that's up there. Olin is much faster than myself in a battleship, so then he can run to B, cap and flip it before I do, because it's ranked, as I said, it's often it comes down to a points game, where you have the leniency of making certain decisions that other times you might not as easily be able to make, which I'm going to talk about how that influences us later in the game, with the enemy team having a points advantage. Now, knowing the Siliwangi is up to, I don't know how to pronounce the name of that ship, the other enemy destroyer, who is now dead, was up at C, meant Olin is here at B. So immediately you're thinking, okay, which ships are positioned where? And as soon as, we saw what enemy ship was at C, then we knew the enemy Olin would be at Bravo. So it's fast torpedoes, pretty good reload time, but they don't hit very hard, so I don't have to worry about that so much. So we're going to engage the Turpits here. Now, the other thing about ranked, a lot of Battleship players make this mistake, is that they end up pushing way too early. And if you're in a Brawling Battleship like myself, you often just want to kite away from an enemy team that's pushing, especially at the start of a game match, right? So here, I don't want to push into Turpits for that reason. Secondly is he has torpedoes and I don't. I don't win the super close within 6-kilometer engagement. As the enemy Shoreborg takes out Doom and Corsair, but Doom got him with the torpedoes. Now, look where our Alabama is. Imagine if he was in a closer supporting position to, I don't know, shoot the broadside of the Cherbourg when Doom had to take him out with torps. So we're going to give him a couple well dones, and I'm a little frustrated. I'm going to say, hey, you need to get to the cap. He needs to flip the cap. There's no enemy ships up there, so he should be able to do scot-free, super easy, all we ask of him. So we'll see how that goes, right? So in the meantime, yeah, I said tell the Alabama, this isn't randoms. And I discussed that already. So anyhow, we're going to be fishing here, trying to figure out where the enemy Oland is, and we see the AA tracers, which tells me he's wanting to go around. Now, I'd like to I could just turn out and go like kind of up the 3 line, like into the F square as an example. But I decide not to. I want to play a little more closer to the island here. I don't want to be so far away that I'm distancing myself from my Oland teammate. And he's already asking, he's actually being really aware. I pinged the map where the Oland was, and he's like, hey, do you need help? And I said, nah, I think I'll be fine. I'm going to start kiting away here from the enemy Oland. And there's his torps, so we avoided them. So now our friendly Tirpitz is making the mistake. Now, for example, he could have disengaged after the Cherbourg died and just flipped C. He was the closest to the cap at the time. Instead, as you see, his hit points is really low. He's pushing into North Carolina, he's pushing to the Key, he's pushing into the Tirpitz, and they're taking full advantage of that. So Tirpitz is dead. In the meantime, Oland sees an opportunity, maybe arising here at Bravo, to go flip the cap since the enemy battleships are further away. So I continue to encourage our Alabama for not being very helpful so far in this ranked match. Again, not being toxic with him, but just kind of exerting my frustration there. Because I don't believe in being toxic and cussing teammates out and stuff. That's just not good to do in general in World of Warships. But be frustrated, pinging the map, giving him wells done, and trying to see if there's... In ranked, it's much more easier to see the mistakes you make. And so I do, when able to, try to point them out to my teammates and hoping that it's a learning experience for them. And in here, I was actually able to get the shot off over the island. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to or not. So I'm detected. I'm thinking Oland has gone wide, but no, he's circled back around. So we're going to call him out so our Oland knows, and I'm going to ask our Oland to get back. Oland does get a heal, but I really need the destroyer player alive, so it's pertinent that he stays dark and continue to help me here, because our situation is not looking here. Now, if you look across the screen, you can see Alabama is shooting at the enemy team. And he's broadside in C to both the enemy North Carolina and Key. Imagine if he would have just simply, even if they were too close, stayed behind the island in C and capped. So in chat, you see me saying, Bama, stay dark. We need points, so stay dark and cap. That's all we need him to do. If we can take advantage of having both control of A and C, the enemy team has to push into us. So we really need them to just push into us and have the points game, as we're already about 80 points behind. He doesn't do that. Instead, he leaves the cap. He leaves the cap, delays the capture progress, won't go dark, continuing to put us in a really bad situation here. Now, in the meantime, my positioning has been trying to figure out where is this Tirpitz doing. He kind of keeps going all the way around. Like now it looks like maybe he might be coming back through the channel again, as I've been trying to pick on this fight, but this is also bad positioning for me if the Key in North Carolina spot me and decide to open up. But they're much more focused on our Alabama making mistakes in C-cap. In the meantime, Oland has revealed himself. He's decided to make the play. He's seen us distancing ourselves. If I'd known he would go through the gap there, I would have sort of stayed down there, but I couldn't really deal with him if he decided to come all the way up around on the 2 line and torpedo me from behind. So I communicate to our Oland player, let's go ahead and go kill the Oland. We can do it together relatively easily. He's been very supportive and communicative in chat, so I compliment him, saying thank you. I do compliment him at the end of the game as well. So it's good for us to move in and hunt here. So Oland gets spotted. We're going to avoid the torpedoes here. And then the Tirpitz reveals himself. So I tell Oland he needs to actually get back. because of the turrets as I ping the map. Because again, I prioritize my DD's life. But alternatively, he sees how low Oland is. Enemy Oland's using his heal. And so he's trying to take out the enemy Oland here. And I'm going to switch my secondaries over. I really want to shoot the turrets with my 9.4 with 6mm guns. But it's very important that we do not let the Oland get away. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a salvo there. My secondaries do finish him off there, as we're going to avoid these torpedoes. And I'm asking our Oland if he can go dark. I say please, if he's able to. But I think the turrets is too close for him, so he can't go dark. So he's going to be eating a lot of secondaries. So he's focusing the destroyer, which is what he should definitely be doing in this situation. He is going to get some torpedoes off, though, as we're going to kite away from the turrets. Again, turrets has 6km torpedoes. He's got a rack of 4 on either side. So we can't allow turrets to get within 6km of us. Now, Oland is going to go down after our Alabama had already died. He's going to die to the key because he was spotted out there in the open. So in the chat, I said North Carolina was a red boat in disguise. I meant to say Alabama was a red boat in disguise, but then I meant to say excuse me, Alabama, but I said excuse my Alabama. So a little bit of laughter there in chat from the enemy team. As the Oland player continues to encourage me, saying that I can kill the turrets here. So good to have his support. Which, of course, in this example here, this is exactly what you should do when you have an enemy battleship brawling you, trying to push into you. You're in a brawler as well. Even if you're in randoms, this is the type of scenario you'd want to do here. Because you want to deny... I want to deny the turrets from getting any torpedoes off on me. So, in this situation, all I can figure is that both enemy battleships, the key in North Carolina, will go flip C. So then I want to go flip Bravo. Now there's two things working against me here. One is the turrets has pushed me further away from the Bravo cap. The second thing that's going to work against me as the enemy battleships just make contact with Charlie cap is my concealment. This is a brawling battleship. I don't build it for concealment. So my detection radius is 14.5 kilometers. So one of the concerns I have here is if I might not make it to the gap in time to get into Bravo and flip it, or at least contest the points progress. If I don't flip B, at least can I contest the points progress there, and only one cap ticking. But that's not going to be enough, right? Enemy team has the points advantage. They have over 100 points lead. Here, I'm going to make a strategic decision. I have 3 heals. I decide to go ahead and use one of those 3 heals to get me full health, restore my health fully, even though I'm not going to get the full usage of the health, because as soon as I make contact with the enemy key in North Carolina, they're immediately going to whittle down my health, and I'd rather go ahead and have my next one of my 2 heals ready to go. So that's a strategic decision I'm going to go ahead and make there, and sacrificing one of my 3 remaining heals. And that's actually, it's going to work out for us. You'll see how that comes into play. And chat, teasing, kind of laughing, encouraging enemy team to give a good manners to our Alabama for his mistakes and very poor play up there. Because, you know, he made the mistake of his positioning right off the bat, told me he doesn't know how to play ranked versus playing randoms. It took him 8 minutes before he made contact with C-Cap, and then he wouldn't flip it. He decided to reveal himself in being spotted by enemy team, and then ended up dying because he sat in the cap broadside after sailing out of the cap, this, that, and the other. Now, we saw Key coming in, as well as now North Carolina, and I decide I'm not able to go flip Bravo. I cannot sacrifice broadside to get into B. Now this is where things are really going to work out for me here. I want the Key in North Carolina to push me. Massachusetts is at its strongest when you're within secondary range of enemy battleships. Both Key and North Carolina, as we pick up the high caliber here, are deciding to bring the fight to me. This is exactly what I want them to do. Now, Key made a bit of a turn out there to get his rear turrets off, but I'm also pretty certain he's probably fired his 10-kilometer torpedoes, as I'm also talking with my clan commander in chat right now. And I couldn't remember the range. He has a Key, I don't. The 2 racks of 3 10-kilometer torpedoes. So here I'm holding my fire, and basically I want to keep the Key in check as North Carolina takes out one of my forward main turrets. Key wants to be able to turn broadside once I fire my turrets, so he can get his rear turrets off. So I'm not going to allow him to do that. I'm going to let him keep shooting me with his front turrets though. But as our one turret's about to come off cooldown, I'm going to see if I can psych him out here. I'm going to fire one, but not my other two turrets. And when I do that, lo and behold, he decides to start showing me broadside to get his rear turrets off. So that's going to be a citadel, and then that's going to be a kill. He's dead. Now, there's still a torpedo threat. Those torpedoes might have reloaded in time. But it was important to focus Key, because Key, he has the torpedoes, but also his armor scheme is weaker than that of the North Carolina. So I wanted to prioritize the Key, and then switch to North Carolina. Now, my friendly Olin is saying ram, and no, you do not ram. North Carolina, he should ram me in this situation. If I were to ram the North Carolina, we lose because enemy team has the points advantage. If North Carolina rams me, right, he wins, I lose. So that's a very important to make note of. Now, I'm going to go ahead and accelerate here because I can't afford to sit still and let North Carolina decide if he wants to ram me or not. I want to avoid the ram at all costs as I get my next heal up here. And I'm trying to incapacitate North Carolina's main battery, which will incapacitate one of the guns, which is great. And North Carolina has messed up. Now it's too late for him to try to get the ram off on me. He's allowed me to maneuver away, and he didn't turn in to see what I was doing in time. And we're trying to do a drive-by here. I don't get the rear turret off. There's a little bit of funkiness going on turrets, so I'm trying to figure that out here. But at this point, North Carolina, unless I mess up massively, he's cost the enemy team the game because he didn't ram me here. You can still see one of his forward turrets is incapacitated there. It's not moving. I'm watching him here. I'm outpacing his rear turret. I'm going to try to take out his rear turret here because I really want to maintain my health here. And I'm going to correct myself and start turning out. I don't want to give him a flat broadside, even though Massachusetts has a pretty strong armor scheme here. Has some chatter going on in chat. But North Carolina, actually, he refuses to get his forward main battery turrets on me. And in this situation, he really needs to. But he decides a little too late here, and I'm going to accidentally hit exit here. And so you're going to see the exit main battle, and North Carolina is going to die. As I give a yeah boy, and 208,000 damage with 556 secondary hits with, what was that, like 2.8 million potential damage in a battle of 6 versus 6. So that's incredibly good for us here. So 208,000 damage, 4 destroyed, 10 set on fire, so secondary is working that over pretty well. 556 secondary hits with close quarters, Dreadnought, and the high caliber achievement here on the Atlantic in ranked battle. Going into the team score, we're going to top our team. I did compliment our Oland for sure, and I did compliment Clan Commander because we're not in the div, right? And he did do well. He got 2 kills, right? So I want to compliment on that. Alabama got to plays poorly. Yeah, so 2.8 million potential damage. You can see our secondary battery did 42,000 damage. Fires, we did 32,000. Main battery, 132. We only fired armor piercing out of these 406s, and we took 102,000 damage. Massachusetts is just insanely good and ranked, in my opinion, when it comes to the battleships. Their turrets is pretty good as well. Then in destroyers, Kidd and Kolstik are really kind of the 2 ones that stand out there. So I hope you like this ranked battle here on the Atlantic. Rather tight ending. And so I love Brawling. World Warships, they kind of killed Brawling for a while in update 10.0 when they brought in Deadeye and they really massively nerfed secondaries. And then you've had a lot more of the experienced players in the game who've left since update 10.0. So there are not as many players who know how to brawl, so to speak, in close quarters. There are some, but not the majority of the player base doesn't quite know how to handle situations like that, where knowing not to ram would be an instant loss for myself, and also that I need to maneuver and speed and all those things that we talked about there towards the end of that battle. So if you like this very close game, give the video a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you are subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate the support. And thank you to my Patreon supporters. And tomorrow I will be doing an Armored Warfare video. So until next time, take care.